From the election to the economy, Amazon, a company born on the internet, thus far has had somewhat low overhead, but that could change in upcoming months. Amazon intends to open brick and mortar grocery stores to compete with the likes of Walmart and Target. The tech company also eventually plans to expand its grocery service to include online shopping, where you can choose your products through the internet, either have it ready for pickup or delivered through their Amazon Fresh program. Joining us now to discuss this and other stories affecting our economy and the markets, we welcome the founder and principal of Sizemore Capital Management, Newsmax insider Charles Lewis Sizemore. So, Charles, we take a look at this. And Amazon making the move into bricks and mortar, they grabbed everybody's attention on 60 Minutes a couple of years ago with delivery by drone. Will that figure in some way? And how do you think Amazon will do converting from the internet to bricks and mortar?
Well, when I first saw the news, my first thought was, well, I would hate to be 7-Eleven right now. But if you look at this, it's not quite what it seems. Amazon is trying to get your grocery dollars for a very good reason. Right now, groceries, while they are a low margin business, it's still something that every American pays for, usually on a weekly basis. If you're already buying your groceries at Amazon, you might also buy something that's higher margin. So Amazon's smart. They know what they're doing here. And this physical presence is part of it. Part of it is with the delivery of groceries to your house. There are practical limitations. I'm in Dallas, Texas. It's really hot here in the summer. I don't really want raw chicken sitting on my front porch waiting for me to come home in the evening. It makes a lot more sense to have something like a physical location where I could order it online. I could pick it up on my way home. The way Amazon would do it, they would have it ready for you. They'd even scan your license plates when they see your car coming to have it ready for you. So I have a feeling they're about to really upend the grocery industry. It's about to get really interesting. It's just not quite what everyone's expecting.
And so it's not going to be that 60-minute service by the drone to your front door, at least not yet.
Well, there may be some of that, and that may also be what they're thinking with having these smaller format stores. That's a physical location that could also serve as a distribution center. So in that respect, that could play into the drones. I think the drone delivery really is coming, but you still have the issue of the practicality of leaving perishable items on someone's porch. Having some mechanism to allow them to go into the store themselves probably makes sense.
All right, one of those bricks and mortar stores done pretty well with groceries and everything else is Walmart. And it's given its entry-level managers a bump in starting salary. That amount went from $45,000 to $48,500 per year. What accounts for the reasons for Walmart to display this sudden generosity?
Walmart just suddenly felt generous. Now, I'm joking, of course. I love Walmart. I think it's a really well-run company, or certainly has been over the last 30 or 40 years. But they're businessmen. They know what they're doing here. By raising those salaries, they're avoiding the potential overtime pay rules that are going into effect. So the way it is now, with the overtime rules that go into effect, a lot of those Walmart managers would be eligible for overtime. Well, that makes it very hard to know ahead of time what your compensation expenses are going to be. By just raising their salaries, Walmart's better able to budget that. I mean, they know ahead of time roughly what their expenses are going to be.
Sometimes in business, we don't know what's going to happen. A case in point, Samsung stopping all production and promotion of its Galaxy Note 7, even advising customers to stop using the product because the thing would catch on fire or explode or start to melt. Mindful of the explosions, what kind of fallout do you expect for this Korean smartphone manufacturer?
Well, you know it's bad when they're actually making fireproof boxes to send the phone back. I mean, Samsung's having to go to that level of actually making a fireproof box in order to return the item. It's bad. It's a bad headline, and it's definitely going to affect their profitability for the next quarter or two. That's unescapable. I don't know that it's going to have this long-term impact. Everyone thought that Apple was going to have this big impact when they had the bendable iPhone. If you remember, well, it wasn't supposed to be bendable, but the iPhone that would bend when you would sit on it. That was supposed to be the iPhone killer, and it wasn't. It was a blip on the radar at most. Automakers, think of every automaker in history. Every other year, it seems, they have some big recall where, some safety issue. They have to do a big recall on sometimes millions of vehicles. They somehow managed to find a way to carry on. I don't know that this will be any different for Samsung. I think it'll be really rough quarter or two. They'll definitely take a bath on their earnings.
And if they're taking a bath, does it follow that Apple will see an increase, a boost in its quarterly earnings for the next couple of quarters?
They might, to some extent. You might see a small jump in the iPhone 6 Plus, the larger phone, for example, not the iPhone 6 Plus, but the 7 Plus now. The larger iPhone, there may be a slight bump there, but I don't know that it's going to be something that would translate to multi-year success. I'm long Apple. I actually like the company a lot. I think it's very reasonably priced. That said, I don't know that this particular incident with Samsung is going to be a windfall.
All right, we will keep our eye on that, and we will remember your point of view when it comes to Apple. In the old days, you would take an Apple to your teacher. Now it seems people buy stock in Apple. Charles Sizemore, excellent insight. We thank you very much for your time tonight on Newsmax Prime.